I was born in a city where summers hum with music from open windows and winters wrap you in quiet warmth, but the people make every day feel alive. Why did life keep testing me with losses that cut deep? How do you rebuild when trust is shaken and plans unravel? And what if those hard moments were just guiding me to a new beginning? Those questions lingered in my heart like soft notes of a song I couldn't forget. I didn't know then that the answers would come from holding on, leaning on family, and daring to start again. I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, born in 1978, where the streets are lined with old oaks and the air carries the sound of church bells on Sundays. Our home was a cozy bungalow in Crestwood South, with a front porch where we'd sit on summer evenings and a backyard with a tire swing I loved. Dad, Walter Anderson, was a postal worker, delivering mail in his crisp uniform, always waving to neighbors. He was a storyteller, sharing tales of quirky customers or far-off places at dinner. Mom, Diane, was a daycare teacher, her days filled with kids' laughter and crafts. She'd come home with glitter on her hands, singing nursery rhymes, her voice bright and warm. They weren't wealthy dinners, were simple, like spaghetti or fried bologna sandwiches, and my clothes were often patched, but love made it enough. As a kid, I was obsessed with music. I danced to Dad's old jazz records, spinning until I was dizzy, or make up songs on a toy piano Mom got at a yard sale. "You've got great taste," Mom would say, clapping along. Dad took me to concerts at the park, where I'd watch bands play, dreaming of being on stage. We didn't have much, vacations were rare, maybe a day trip to the zoo, but I felt rich. Summers meant playing tag with neighborhood kids, staying out until fireflies lit up. Winters were for baking cookies with Mom, the kitchen sweet with vanilla, or listening to Dad's stories by the fireplace. School was my playground. In kindergarten, I loved music class, banging on tambourines or singing loud. My teacher, Mrs. Hayes, called me a little songbird. By middle school, I was in choir, harmonizing with friends, and joined the drama club, acting in plays. I wasn't shy on stage, I felt free. Friends were like me, artsy kids who'd hang out at the library, reading about musicians or sneaking to open mic nights. My first crush was Ryan, a boy in choir who played guitar. We'd share song lyrics, blushing, but it stayed sweet and simple. Schoolwork was fine, English was my strength, writing stories or poems, but science bored me. "Rachel, you could tell stories for a living," a teacher said. High school was busier. I worked at a record store after class, sorting vinyl and chatting with customers about bands. The job was cool, free concert tickets sometimes, music always playing. I joined the school radio club, hosting a show with pop hits and goofy banter. Friends and I went to shows at Sloss Furnaces, dancing to local bands, or grabbed burgers at a diner, talking about dreams. I wasn't the popular kid, just a girl with big earrings and bigger plans. Wanting to work in music or radio, I skipped college for a job at a local radio station in 1996, starting as a receptionist but soon helping with playlists. The station was a live GJS, joking, music blasting. I loved picking songs, feeling like I shaped people's days. That's where I met Ethan in 1998. He was a music producer, stopping by to pitch artists, his denim jacket full of demo tapes. He was charming, with a quick laugh and eyes that saw the world differently. "You've got great taste," he'd say, noticing my song picks. We'd talk music, jazz, rock, local bands over coffee breaks. Our first date was a concert at a dive bar, dancing to a blues band, sweat and smiles mixing. Ethan was thoughtful, bringing me mixtapes or taking me to record stores. We'd spend evenings at his apartment, listening to albums, debating lyrics. In 2000, he proposed at a park during a jazz festival, ring in hand. "Rachel, let's make music together," he said, grinning. I said yes, heart racing. The wedding was small church ceremony, reception at a community center with fried chicken and a DJ friend. Mom decorated with flowers, Dad gave a teary toast. We honeymooned at a lake cabin, planning our life. We rented a house in Highland Park with a porch for morning coffee. I moved up at the station, hosting a late-night show. Ethan produced local bands, his studio a creative mess. Life was loud mornings picking songs, evenings with friends at gigs. Hannah was born in 2002, a curious girl with Ethan's smile. She'd clap to music as a baby, grabbing my microphone toy. Logan was born in 2004, a quiet boy who loved stories. The house filled with kid songs, toys, and giggles. I'd sing lullabies, Ethan recording them for fun. In 2006, Mom's diagnosis hit like a storm. I was 28, Hannah 4, Logan 2, when Dad called. "Rachel, your mom's forgetting things. It's Alzheimer's." My heart sank. Mom was only in her 50s, but she'd repeat stories or misplace keys. Dad took care of her, but it was hard her forgetting names, getting lost in familiar places. I'd visit, bringing the kids, Hannah singing for Grandma, Logan cuddling her. "I'm still here," Mom said, her eyes distant. We helped driving her to appointments, paying for meds. It hurt our budget, no new clothes, fewer outings. Ethan took extra gigs, I worked late shifts. The kids kept us grounded. Hannah's songs, Logan's drawings, Mom's condition worsened slowly. By 2008, she needed a caregiver part-time. Dad retired early, using savings. We leaned on friends' church meals, neighbors checking in. Hannah started school, loving music. Logan was shy but curious. Family trips were simple picnics at the park, kids chasing squirrels. Dad stayed strong, but his eyes showed the strain. In 2011, Ethan's career took a hit. A big music project, a soundtrack for a local film, dropped him for a bigger name. "I'm nobody," he said, crushed. Money got tight, bills piled, savings drained. I took extra hours. Ethan freelanced, producing small bands. Hannah, 9, made him playlists. Logan, 7, told him stories to cheer him up. We cut back, no cable, cheap meals. Mom's care costs grew, adding pressure. We fought sometimes over money, schedules. "We'll make it," I told Ethan, holding his hand. By 2013, he landed new clients, his confidence returning, life settled. I got a better slot at the station, hosting mornings. Ethan's studio grew. Hannah joined choir, Logan loved science fairs. We took them to concerts, their eyes wide at live music. Mom's Alzheimer's progressed. She moved to a care facility in 2014, Dad visiting daily. It hurt seeing her fade, but we cherished her lucid moments when she'd hum old songs. I'd hold her hand, singing softly, hoping she felt us there. Ethan and I balanced work and family, our home noisy with Hannah's piano practice and Logan's questions about the world. We were making it, one day at a time, love stitching us together through the cracks. The years after Ethan's setback were about finding balance. Hannah grew into a teenager who lived for music, always singing or tinkering on the piano. Logan was quieter, building model rockets or reading about tech. We'd take them to Red Mountain Park, Hannah humming melodies, Logan wandering trails with a curious gaze. My radio show was thriving. Listeners loved my stories, calling in to share their own. Ethan's studio was busy again, producing local hits that played on my show. Family gatherings were warm barbecues with Dad, who'd tell old postal stories, making the kids laugh. Mom's visits at the care facility were bittersweet. She'd smile, but often didn't know us. "She's still Mom," Dad would say, squeezing my hand, his voice steady but heavy. In 2017, my world tilted again. I was 39 when the bank called. "Your account's been hacked. Someone had stolen my identity. Credit cards opened in my name. Savings drained. Even my radio show's social media taken over." It wasn't just money. It felt like someone had reached into my life and ripped out my trust. "Who does this to people?" I sobbed to Ethan, feeling exposed. Fixing it took months, freezing accounts, filing police reports, rebuilding credit. Work suffered. Listeners noticed my distraction, and my boss gave me a sharp warning to focus. Hannah, 15, helped manage my online accounts, setting up new passwords. Logan, 13, researched scams, teaching me how to spot phishing emails. "You're tough, Mom," Hannah said, hugging me. Ethan stayed calm, juggling bills while I navigated the chaos. By 2018, we'd recovered financially, but I was cautious, checking accounts daily. A habit that lingered like a scar. Dad was my anchor, visiting Mom every day, sharing her old music with me to keep her close. "You're strong like her," he'd say, his words a lifeline. Ethan played me songs to lift my mood, pulling me to dance in the living room. I poured myself into work, sharing stories of resilience on air, connecting with listeners who'd faced their own battles. The kids kept us steady. Hannah's recitals filled our weekends. Logan's tech projects littered the dining table. We adapted tighter budgets, more family nights with board games or Dad's old records spinning. The 2020 pandemic hit like a tidal wave. The radio station/staff. My show went remote, then got canceled. Ethan's studio closed, no bands could record. We were stuck at home, the kids restless. Hannah, 18, took online music classes, her voice echoing through the house. Logan, 16, dove into coding, building small apps. Mom's facility went into lockdown, no visits, just calls where she barely spoke, her voice a faint echo of the woman who sang to me. "What if we lose her like this?" I asked Ethan, tears falling. He held me. "We'll hold on, Rachel. Money was tight, unemployment checks helped, but worry not at us." Hannah started teaching piano online, earning a little. Logan coded apps for local businesses. We found ways to cope: family karaoke nights, baking Mom's old recipes, the kitchen smelling of cinnamon. "We're tougher than this," Logan said, grinning, making us laugh through the fear. By 2022, the world started turning again. The station rehired me for a new show, a mix of music and stories. Ethan's studio reopened, buzzing with artists. Hannah began college for music therapy, renting a place nearby, her apartment filled with instruments. Logan studied computer science, moving to a dorm but calling often, sharing tech ideas. Mom passed in 2023, her Alzheimer's finally taking her. The funeral was small, Dad's voice breaking as he spoke of her love for music. He moved in with us, his stories of Mom and his postal roots filling our home with warmth. Hannah married a musician in 2024, settling in Birmingham, her home a hub for jam sessions. Logan, now a software engineer, lives downtown, working on tech startups but joining us for Sunday dinners. They're independent but close. Holiday gatherings are allowed with music, summer barbecues alive with laughter. At T47, I felt a pull for something more. The pandemic's isolation lingered in my mind, a quiet ache for connection. Over dinner one night, I looked at Ethan and said, "Let's open a music studio." We dreamed of it for years, a place for kids to learn instruments, for locals to perform, for our love of music to live. "Yes," he said, his eyes bright with the same fire I fell for. We used our savings, found a space in 5 Points South, a small building with great acoustics, a rent we could just manage. We quit our jobs, me from radio, Ethan from producing. Are we crazy? I laughed, signing the lease. The best kind of crazy, he replied, grinning. Dad helped plan classes, his enthusiasm contagious. Hannah designed flyers, her artistic touch making them pop. Logan built a website, sleek and inviting. We remodeled soundproofing rooms, buying guitars and mix. Opening Anderson's sound was electric. I taught the first guitar lesson to a group of kids. Ethan mixed a demo for a local band. Students loved it, calling it a cool spot, but the first weeks were slow, few sign-ups, bills stacking up. What if we fail? I asked Ethan, sweeping the studio floor. We won't, he said, kissing my forehead, his confidence steadying me. We pivoted fast, added kids' music classes, launched open mic nights. Hannah's social media posts spread the word, drawing teens and families. Logan's website brought online bookings. The studio came alive, mornings with young guitarists, evenings with local bands performing. Challenges kept coming. Equipment broke, a teacher quit unexpectedly. Ethan fixed the gear himself, cursing but laughing. I took on extra classes, learning to teach drums. By summer, Anderson's sound was buzzing, kids strumming, singers recording, crowds at our shows. A local paper called us Birmingham's music heart. Revenue grew, bills were paid, and we planned to expand. Hannah started teaching music therapy classes, her passion lighting up the space. Logan helped with tech, setting up a booking system. Dad wandered in, telling stories to students, his laugh echoing through the rooms. At T47, Anderson's sound is more than a business, it's a community. Alive with the music that's always been my heartbeat. Ethan and I work side by side, singing as we set up for classes. Our family gathers here, Hannah leading sessions, Logan dropping by, Dad sharing tales. The hard times, Mom's slow fade, Ethan's career blow, my stolen identity. The pandemic's loneliness shaped us, but they didn't break us. Love and grit carried us through. Our studio is proof that second chances can sing, turning pain into harmony. Life feels sweet now, like a song we wrote together, each note stronger for the struggles behind it.